Hello everybody. Welcome to the channel if you are new, and welcome back if you are already a subscriber. In today's video, we are going to be rounding out all of the memory keeping goodness that has been devoted to my Orange Beach 2025 trip. So I actually haven't been to Orange Beach in like 4 years, but this is somewhere that Jeff and I started going to pre-COVID, and I think our last trip was actually 2021. And it's somewhere that we love so much, but especially in the off season. So this time we decided to go over Labor Day weekend just to be conservative about taking PTO. So I have been showing different ways that I documented the trip over the last few weeks. So there is a catch up with me, which is kind of a plan with me style. Then there is a version that is just my dailies, which is really fun because I've kind of took like a Dutch door approach, which I totally scrap lifted, journal lifted, whatever from Helen of Coffee Monster Co. And it worked out really, really well because honestly, the days were not really full. So I didn't have a lot really to say or to talk about. So the Dutch door thing really worked for this. So many of my trips are packed to the gills. Like when Jeff and I go to Mardi Gras, it is literally insane. We drive overnight and then we hit the ground running the next morning. Like it is so full. So all that to say, and then when I go to Orlando, it's the exact same thing. So it was really a nice change of pace, and I really didn't think I was going to have another opportunity to do it or give it a try at least. So it was really, really fun to do so. So let's dive into the trip, shall we? So on this first day, I actually dove into a very, very, very old Agenda 52 book, which would have been something I picked up in my early planner days from Hobby Lobby. And I have really been endeavoring to keep an eyeball out for travel stickers, not just because of this particular series, but because I am actually, at the time of recording and getting ready to post this, I am preparing to leave for a work trip to Texas. And this is the first time I have flown in a decade. So please send me all of your crafty travel tips and techniques. I would love to hear them. I've been watching way too many videos. Typically, I drive everywhere I've ever gone over the last 10 years. So I've not really needed to mute myself. And if you've ever seen any of my like, what am I taking on my ... trip, then you know I typically take a backpack and a tote bag and way too much stuff. It's way too much stuff. And I take like my entire sticker binder. Like, that's not real. That's not even a real thing. So I am really trying to figure out what to take with me. Not just what can actually fit in my luggage and go on a plane, but what am I actually going to have time to do? If you guys caught the obnoxious video that was all the supplies I took to the beach, spoiler alert, I did 0 crafting at the beach, which was actually really lovely. I really let myself relax and I needed to take a break, and it was really good. So other than just taking deep breaths, resting a lot, and doing a whole lot of nothing, I didn't want to stress myself out. So anyways, let me go back to the product. So all of those stickers on that very first page were from the Agenda 52 book that is ancient. I don't even think they have it anymore. And then as far as this page goes, I'm going to keep it really simple with product. I'm using a sticker from that Dear Lizzie book, that Monday sticker. I threw a dash border around it. And then you're going to see me add like a really cool kind of like accomplishment banner and a cute little like dashed arrow to match that dashed theme on the other page. And yum. I decided to print 2 photos from my sprocket, which are both on screen. It's the photo of all the food that we got at the Gulf, and then a cute selfie that we took our last night, which I'll totally get to all that stuff. But as far as the travel day goes and travel days in the future, so please let me know your tips. If you let me know in the next few days, I'll be able to, take them to heart and use them, and I'll definitely let you know if I do. But I am looking forward to testing myself a little bit. I'm not going to have a ton of time for crafting, so I think what I'm going to endeavor to do is work on backfilling my September 2024 spaces in my 5-year. So that is my goal as of right now. And as we flip through some September pages, like you can see on this one, where it's like prepped in the bar above. And it's because as I've been doing the pages and flipping through the Hobonichi cousin, I'm able to say, okay, this is what happened that day. So let me go ahead and put my stickers down so that all I need to do is journal. And I'm doing that as well to make it easier to travel with, be easier to actually get some things accomplished. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm not always in a phase of documenting where I want to journal. Sometimes I just want to put down the pretty things. So when I'm in that phase, I just use that to my advantage and set up pages. And then when I'm ready to journal, I have ones that are ready, all ready to go. So, I guess I should probably talk a little bit about the travel day and the page I'm journaling on. So since we're moving on to day 3 in a minute, well, day 2 technically, but the travel day was great for the most part. We left about 20 minutes later than Jeff wanted to, but it was fine. I got almost 100 pages of my book, which I am at the time was reading Alias Grace, and I still am. I am waiting on my coworker to catch up. She is my book, we're like a 2-woman book club. That's really what it is. And watch club. So we are going to read the book and then watch the series. So I am waiting on her because unfortunately, while I was gone on my trip, she was not feeling well. So she did not get the chance to read any. And then after she was not feeling well, her dog was not feeling well. So she's had a go of it for sure. But we are going to hopefully be in a place to continue while I am on the plane. That's my goal, is to be able to do that while I'm on the plane. But then we got to the beach and it was packed out. It was completely packed out. And again, it's a holiday weekend, but our theory was that if we came towards the end of the holiday weekend, that we would luck out. So we left on Saturday. Actually, no, that's a lie. We arrived on a Sunday. So my thought was that people would probably be leaving on Sunday, Monday, and maybe Tuesday, but it would thin out, a good midway into our trip when we finally settled it. But we had a really cozy night, made Italian beef sandwiches. Pro tip, and something we learned by taking all of the family beach trips, was that we love to either meal prep and plan, but also try to cook a little bit while we're out. That way we're not spending so much money and we're also not forced to go out. So I meal prepped a quiche and froze it so that we literally had breakfast every morning and didn't have to go out unless we wanted to. And we actually, I think, came home with a little bit of quiche, which was great for the next morning. So even if you, and I've done that for our family beach trips as well. Also, when we do the family trips, the way that we would structure it is that each kind of household, quote unquote, in the group needed to prep or meal, cook a meal for one night, which is great because it would feed everybody, but then there would be leftovers. So it was like, okay, you're kind of going home with a meal as well, or we could split it all up and share with each other. So that was really fun. So I meal prepped Italian beef, and Jeff ended up cooking tacos al pastor on Taco Tuesday, which is what you currently see me working on screen. So that was a really good travel day. The next day, we went down to the beach and we tried to set up camp, but it was so windy, you guys, so windy, that eventually we kind of had to pack it in about mid-afternoon, and we decided to go get some food at the Gulf, which was the cool photo on that page. We got so much food and we ate so much, and it was so good. We had been there before and it was just as good as we remembered. If you are in the Orange Beach area, I really encourage you to go get their mahi tacos if you're a fan of something like that. You can skip on the Parmesan truffle fries. At least our batch wasn't that great. But we did get the grouper bites, and Jeff got the lobster roll, and he was super happy with everything he ate. the unfortunate part of the day, well, okay, this is not unfortunate. The unfortunate part was not being able to be out and about because of the wind. It was too much. Like, our tent wasn't handling it. We weren't handling it. It was also causing the surf to be so bad that they weren't really letting people, like, they were recommending people not to get in the water. So it was just one of those things where it's like, okay, this is not fun because we're forcing it. Let's go find something that we can do. And originally I wanted to go to the Gulf the first night we were there. So really we just kind of were shifting some of the plans around. But a very funny story that happened early in the day was that when we were setting up camp, we kept kind of like scooching like a little to this side and a little to that side to find like our perfect little setup. And in the process of this, I had brought a jar of water from Port St. Joe, and that first family beach trip where I really had let a lot go. I collected the water at the Strawberry Full Moon. I let it charge. I've had it in my house since, and I had really reached a point where I was ready to let that water go and let go of some more things, and then bring back fresh water, fresh vibes, and, set some new intentions. I felt like it was a good time, but I wanted it out of my house. And so the very first thing I did was go to release the water. And then I took the jar back up and, we're scooching camp here, too, and there. And then at one point, Jeff threw the jar. And, okay, the odds were pretty low that anything was going to happen to this jar. But it hit one of the chairs so perfectly that it broke it. And he was freaking out. He was completely freaked out. He felt so bad because he knows how I am about my moon water and my jars and my altar stuff and all of that. And he was freaking out. But what was so weird, you guys, was I felt like a weight had lifted off of me. And I took the biggest deep breath. And it just felt so clean. And I felt so good. Like, I almost felt like a fog had lifted. It was so bizarre. And I was completely fine and I was completely calm. And the irony was that I had another jar. It just had food in it because it was the Cowboy Caviar jar for the label that you see on screen. And I was like, it's no sweat. It's okay. And I really liked the idea that it would go into there as well. I have different feelings about that now that I've gotten home with it and some things have happened, but we'll get there. So, all in all, it was a really good first day, even with the wind. We made the best of it, and we just kind of turned in early and crossed our fingers that the next day would be kinder. And I was just really grateful that we really hadn't seen that many jellyfish. We had seen some kicked up by the rough water, but as far as like in the water proper, we really hadn't seen much of anything. So that was calming. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the page I'm actually working on. I've caught up with myself. So I use a little Taco Tuesday sticker from my stash and a cute Tokidoki sticker from that first Daiso run I did, which if you want to see that, it's in a vlog that's like hanging out in my June uploads, I think. We finally got a Daiso and I'm so excited. But I thought this was like the perfect one with her in the Mermicorn float because I actually blew up Kevin. Yes, Kevin from Up. I have a giant float of him that I got my mom, and she is always gracious enough to let us have shared custody and let me borrow it during beach trips. So I thought that was super perfect. I am thinking that I'm going to have to build like a sticker book of sorts with all of these random crazy stickers I have in 47 places to just, I really want to do it so that here's the thing. I was inspired by James Burke Creative's videos on his little sticker books that he made as he's getting ready to leave for Australia in his cruise contract. And I was really excited about I need to build a sticker book like that so that I can just whip it out and try to knock out as many stickers as possible for when I have these trips, or honestly just to have so I'm not carrying around everything. I'm also trying to be more mindful lately of instead of carrying around so much stuff with me and I don't always have a chance to like actually dive into my planners, I think it would be best if I had almost like just a travel kit that, goes in my work bag, goes with me to Jeff's, and then when I'm home, I can really stretch out and play with all of my stuff, because I'm finding that I'm getting far more done in those cases than I am, and I'm spending so much time kind of creating these like little travel bags. I don't know. So let me know what your thoughts are. I'm always here for your tips and techniques. I hope that you get awesome tips and techniques from me, so I would love to get them from you as well. But I also wrote the recipe for the cake and corn dip, which is what I made using the cowboy caviar. It's a recipe you can find on the Trader Joe's website. It's pretty simple, and really you just need like a corn, black bean, and pepper salsa. You don't have to have the Trader Joe's one. It's really good. Per the recipe, the only thing I would change is it recommends to add like a 1/4 cup of corn. I've made it twice now, and Jeff is super funny because he told me today that he's going to do a knockoff version of it, and we'll see how it turns out. But I wouldn't add corn. What I would actually recommend is adding meat, either like chorizo or ground beef or whatever your preference is to that. I think it would be really, really good. But in this particular case, we hadn't made it before yet, so I really just wanted to make it as close to the recipe as possible. I knew going in I didn't want that extra corn, because I could see a lot of corn in the dip itself, and I was like, I don't need more of that. And I was also making Mexican street corn for the day. I had prepped it before we left, so I was like, no, we're good on the corn. But the day was really well-rounded, honestly. I got up, paid some bills, uploaded some YouTube content, and then it was less windy, less crowded. It was a perfect full beach day. It did take a left though, guys. So Jeff made this really tasty cocktail, and as a result of that, I think he had a little bit too much of the cocktail. And I also ignored the reapplication instructions on my sunscreen. Normally, I'm not super great about my sunscreen. I've always been bad about it, but I usually don't have anything on that's that high. I had on a 70 SPF, and so I was like, I'm good. No, I was not. I had a nice, lovely chest sunburn and back sunburn exactly like above where the float would be. So it was either for me laying back on the float or forward on the float. So yeah, that led to a very lazy next day. Sunburnt and hungover. We went to brunch at Ruby's. Ruby Sunshine and Ruby Slipper. I think, at least in Orange Beach, it's Slipper. I think it might be Sunshine in other locations. I know that there was a little bit of issue with like the name at one point. I don't know, but they're based out of New Orleans. They were the first fried green tomatoes I ever had, and to this day are still my favorite. And I was so upset when we went to New Orleans the last 2 trips and I didn't get the chance to have them. So Jeff kept asking, he was like, what do you want to do on the trip? What do you want to do? And I was like, honestly, I want fried green tomatoes from Ruby's, and I want my carbonara from GT's on the Bay. As long as those 2 things happen, I don't care what else happens. I literally have no expectations. Whatever I get done, I'm fine. And I got both of those things. So I really was quite fine. I've gotten to where I'm not so concerned with packing everything in. I kind of make sure, like, what are my big things that I want to get done? And that way, if other things get snuck in there, I'm happy, but I'm not disappointed. That's taken a lot of time. But that cute little slow down sticker is from a One Canoe 2 book. All my stars are kind of from the Dear Lizzie book, or I think some are just from like a Happy Planner sticker sheet I had. And then the donut that I used in the phrasing is from that Planner Basics book that I'm using as like an extended hand rest. But after brunch, we went to City Donuts. You guys, these donuts were amazing. I knew from the first bite into the first one, I was like, oh, these are the kind of donuts that don't get stale after a day. Like, no joke. They stayed good. I don't want to know what was in them preservative wise or how they did that, but they were amazing. And that was not the last time that we went to City Donut either. But other than that, we stayed in bed. Like, we literally ate the donuts in the bed. We took naps. We watched TV. We were the biggest bums, and it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. And I always make the joke that I can't get Jeff to calm down and like have a lazy day unless he's hungover. And that is legit. He is always trying to do something. He doesn't know how to sit still. And I'm so much better about being like situationally aware and saying, oh, I need a day. I need a day to sit in front of the TV and just play with my planners, or nothing at all for that matter, and just be quiet and watch TV and eat junk. Like, I kind of need that. And I'm so much better. I don't know. Maybe it is just being a female and we're a little bit more in tune with our cycle and our needs. I don't know. But he was super lazy, and so was I, and we had a glorious day of resting and just staying out of the sun. So the day I'm working on right now is our last day. That super pretty washi is from a Crate Paper Sunny Days collection. Again, bringing in those super cute Tokidoki stickers. When I bought them, I don't think I knew we were going to the beach. I don't think I even had any inkling, because we wouldn't have planned that until maybe a month later. But I was like, first of all, I love Tokidoki, so I got them just to get them. But I was like, that is like the perfect vibe for the last day, and the float was perfect for my float day. So I'm so happy I have those. The Summer Lovin' sticker is from a Happy Planner book, and then I put this cute little like couple banner that I think is from an Agenda 52 book. The It's Beautiful Here phrasing is from a Crate Paper book. Really, again, going back to what I was saying, like, I'm really trying to dive into my stash more these days. So I've really been enjoying like doing like some bulk journaling pages and prepping, and I feel like I'm just knocking through some supplies, and that's always a really gratifying feeling. But as far as the last day, it was a perfect last beach day. We spent most of it in the water, and just, I swam so much. It was wonderful. And the water was like not super choppy. The tide was like, it still pulled a good bit, but it was the best beach day of the whole trip. And I'm so glad we got the majority of it. And then we went inside and cleaned up and went to GT's on the Bay. And this is where Jeff got the best dish of the trip. It was this like pan-fried grouper over the best grits I've ever tasted, and it had this amazing sauce. I will 10,000% get that dish when we go back, and I actually think that there's another restaurant that has like the same thing, but it's mahi instead of grouper, and we might have to go there because I'm more of a mahi girl than a grouper girl. It's a texture thing. Sorry. And then we got fried pecan pie at Luna's, and then Jeff really was unhinged because he is a person that doesn't, like, he likes sweets, but he tries to like keep us steady most of the time, and he wanted to go back to City Donuts to get this ice cream sandwich thing that they make. They take a donut and they cut it and they fill it with ice cream and they press it. And then they do like all of these toppings. So if you've ever done that in Epcot, you know what I'm talking about. There's like a similar thing in Epcot. I've never done it in Epcot, but I know it exists. We got some cute selfies on the dock at GT's, and then we just kind of came home and, you know, enjoyed a final sunset walk, and that was it. Like I said, these days were really, really short and not super filled. It was more a focus on just enjoying where we were and being present and just trying to defrag. But then we had to leave, and we definitely wanted one more day. And I think a lot of that was like the lazy day and the bad weather, windy day. But all in all, like, it just felt like it needed to be one day longer, truly. And I hate that we didn't have the extra day. But when we headed home, we first went to Brick and Spoon, which is a local brunch spot. We had been there before. I had shrimp and grits, and Jeff ate, I swear to God, more eggs than is natural. Like, he had this omelet that I don't even know how many eggs were in that. He had the poached egg that was supposed to go on my dish that I had them put on the side. Again, it's a texture thing. And then he also ate this deviled egg appetizer. So he literally was like Humpty Dumpty. And then we headed home, and the traffic was fine. I got about another 100 pages read. I was hoping that Jen was catching up in the background, but like I said, she wasn't feeling well. And then we got Dante's, which is a pizza place kind of close to my house. And we had to wait forever for it, but we did get to try their cheese sticks, and it was so freaking good. The perfect end to a very long travel day. But all in all, it was a great trip, and I'm hoping that we'll go back in another year or so, and it won't be 4 years before we get back there. But if you're looking for somewhere to go that's got a lot to do, whether you want a beach or you want to eat or a little bit of both, I really recommend Orange Beach, and I really recommend it in the off season if you're looking for something a little more quiet and less crowded. But I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and again, got some really fun tips and tricks. Please let me know what your travel trip ideas are. I am looking to film a vlog or some kind of content while I'm on the trip so I can show you guys what I actually end up taking, but also kind of like what I'm getting up to. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to film because it is work related, and I know there's a bunch of that I won't be able to share, but I will share what I can, and I hope you guys are all doing well, and I hope you are as excited about spooky season as me. Until next time, enjoy creating your own little wonderlands. Thank you guys all so much for your support, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.